Hey guys, how's everything going? I'm going to be going over another book review today, and this one is on the great founder of the McDonald's franchise, Ray Kroc, Grinding It Out. Fascinating book, I think, by one of the greatest entrepreneurs ever to have lived and stuff. He's revolutionized the franchise industry basically, and what it is to actually be a franchising out McDonald's franchises around the world, basically, right? So I'm going to start off with just with going over a bit of the actual book and stuff. I'm going to start out with an excerpt from the preface. Then I'm going to move into some of Ray Kroc's thoughts, and then what I got from the book, right? And so I'm gonna illustrate the story of how the McDonald's franchise came about, basically, and how it came to become into one of the most successful franchises around the world. Think about it. McDonald's covers I think more than 70% of the countries around the world. So it's a large franchise, right? Now, franchisor, large franchisor, right? And then I'm just gonna end it basically with one of Ray Kroc's favorite homily, which I read every week. I don't read it every day, but every week, just to understand what he was actually thinking, right? So, if you guys read the preface of the book, right? The preface of the book was written by this guy named Paul Paganucci, and he was the dean of Dartmouth College. I think the current Secretary of the United Nations, apart from, no, sorry, not him, but the current president of the World Bank, Jim Young, I forgot his name though, South Korean American guy. I think he went to Dartmouth College. I'm not sure, but Dartmouth College is a really well-known college in the U.S. and the dean of that college in 1976 wrote this about the McDonald's franchise, basically, once it was a big franchise, basically, and it had expanded throughout the nation, and I think it had then expanded a bit outside the U.S. as well. He said, it reminds us that opportunity abounds, that all one needs is the knack of seizing the chances that exist of being in the right place at the right time. There is a little luck to it, but the key is still hard work and grinding it out. So as the book notes, right, grinding it out, right? Paganucci knew that Ray Kroc was a guy that was humble, basically. He started the McDonald's franchise when he was 52 years old. Think about it, right? Who starts out trying to grow the franchise business or any business at the age 52? Rarely anyone does, and so, as what Paganucci said, right, opportunity abounds always. Probably it abounds more in a free democratic society like ours. I'm in Australia right now, but it still abounds around the world. And now that we live in this globalized, interconnected world, right? It has made it easier for the individual to rise to fame. So when it comes to Ray Kroc, right? Ray Kroc said in his book something which I took. He said, that I've always had this though simple philosophy, and that is that everyone is responsible for their own actions and for their own happiness, and for their own life, So like though he understood that, it doesn't matter what you've been through, it doesn't matter what you've done, you are still responsible basically for your happiness in your life. And I take that to him hard, because I understand that I'm also responsible for my own life and stuff, So I think that's a really important thing, right? Now some other stuff, how the story goes, right? So Ray Kroc was actually selling paper cups for 17 years at the Lily Tula Cups company. And he was like Ray Kroc said is that he climbed the sales ladder all the way up until the top basically, and then he got a chance to then sell multi-mixers, and so he started to sell multi-mixers, right? And then he sold it. He actually gave it to this one place in San Bernardino, California, and it sold like crazy there. And so he said, it sold for 150 for every single multi-mixer, right? Back then, of course, that was a lot of money, right? We're talking 60s, 70s, So or I think 50s, 60s, 70s or something. So what happened basically is that he walked into this McDonald's fast food restaurant, right? And they were selling hamburgers for 15 cents. Now what Ray Kroc did is that he just looked at how they had created this system, which they had to create it, right? Where someone makes the fries, someone makes someone makes the burgers, someone's up front, helping with the orders, right? And he had realized how the McDonald's brothers had created this specialized system, right? And he said to himself, "Wow, this is a wonderful system," And so what he did is that night he went back to his hotel room, and he started to think about all these small McDonald's around the whole country and around the whole world, basically. So as you guys can to see there, right? He had that leadership component to sort of think outside the box, sort of think big, think large, He had the vision to not only think one McDonald's, but multiple McDonald's, right? And so he said that when he went to go acquire the rights to the McDonald's franchise, right? Because he had asked the McDonald's brothers, how did you guys go and actually trying to franchise McDonald's, right? And the McDonald's brothers tried before and they failed, and so they knew that they couldn't franchise this thing, right? And so Ray Kroc, what he said in his book, basically, is that he was sitting with them outside the porch, basically, right? And then one of the McDonald's brothers says, "You see, all we want to do is just have own our own business, basically, and just live life calmly and stuff, And then Ray Kroc said, "Well, wait a minute, maybe we can also grow this even bigger, right?" And the main lesson that I took about that moment where Ray Kroc asked the McDonald's brothers for the franchise rights, right, was that Ray Kroc said, "I looked at the McDonald's brothers in the face with a sense of certitude." So he was certain, he was convinced that they would say yes. If you guys read Sun Tzu, The Art of War, he says that the wise general knows that the war is won before it's even started. that you have to be certain in life before you actually go into something. And so Ray Kroc was, and the McDonald's brothers agreed to then like give the franchising rights to Ray Kroc, of course, and then he went back to his hometown in Des Plaines, Illinois. Borrowed some the money from his friends and his family, and I think the bank as well, to then create what he would call his first franchise prototype, right? And his first franchisee was I believe this guy called Art Bender. He was the first McDonald's franchisee, basically. And then the story goes about how then Ray Kroc started to select specialized people to also help him create this McDonald's franchisee, right? And he said he met he selected this lady June Martino, who became the corporate secretary, treasurer, and also part owner of McDonald's at that time. He also acquired Harry Sonneborn, who though like the Ray Kroc said was a financial wizard. He knew a lot about maths and stuff, and and I think he was the first McDonald's CEO, right? But the thing to actually get about here is that Ray Kroc said in his book that he knew that he needed allies around him, right? So I think that's important, right? That when we go out there in life, sometimes we think that but we can do everything but by ourselves, right? But it's also proven that with the McDonald's franchise, right, nothing can be achieved only by you. You will need allies in life for anything, right? And so a sales technique which I got from this book basically was that Ray Kroc said, I always see so many salespeople how they always try to persuade people to buy their product or do this or do that, but he says salespeople forget when to stop talking, and he said the one thing I learned in sales, and this is from Ray Kroc, is that when someone is either looking at their phone, distracted, looking somewhere else, well then he said I would just stop and ask for their order automatically. So I wouldn't be like trying to persuade someone who doesn't even care, or I wouldn't be going more into detail when that person doesn't show interest, And so I think that's a really good business heuristic for those out there, in sales. Moving on a bit. He goes throughout the book basically about how we expanded, McDonald's. According to Ray Kroc, by the way, McDonald's was not in the hamburger business, by the way. They were. He said they were in the real estate business. He was trying to build all the McDonald's franchises basically in an area where there would be people around him. And he says, that like the Golden Arch, and that would be like the symbol of McDonald's. And if you guys look about some YouTube videos on him and stuff, he says that he kept the word McDonald's and didn't want to change the word because he said it just sounded genuine. It just sounded nice, McDonald's. It wasn't like the general hamburger store or something, I don't know, but he said McDonald's sounded right, it sounded perfect as a franchise name, so he just kept the name. You guys see there as well, right? He had the humility to not change the like franchise name to his own name, Kroc. He said, well, I have something already which seems to be working. The name's fine. I'll just keep it, use it, turn it into a system, and then of course duplicate that system with the franchisees, right? So there was one famous quote by the Ray Kroc. He said he always said, I remember this quote, something which so he invented himself. He said, as long as you're green, you're growing. As soon as you're ripe, you start to rot. So if you have that in mind, as long as you're growing in life, you are still green like a tree, right? But as soon as you stop, you will start to rot. Or as soon as you regress in life, but then you start to rot. I think that's a good analogy and a good quote to have in mind. He's also famous for saying, that the quality of a leader is determined by the standards they set themselves. So again, going back every single day, it's about growing and raising your standards, basically, and keeping your standards high in life. So whatever you do, whatever your values are, keep it high in life. So it means those who just try to obstruct who you are, your values, and what you stand for, must go, of course. So I think that was also a really good practical lesson for me, right? And it could be also for the viewers on this video. And lastly, I wanted to read, as I had stated before, one of Ray Kroc's favorite homilies. He said this homily was, and this is on towards the end of the book. He said, nothing in the world can take place. Nothing in the world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful men with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education will not. The world is full of educated derelicts. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. I think it just goes to say, by the way, people, when Ray Kroc started the McDonald's franchise, right? He was, as I said, 52 years old. But another thing to also add on that, right, is that he had arthritis and he had diabetes. People, think about that. A guy at the age 52, who would want to start something at the age 52 with arthritis and diabetes, right? This guy was a true entrepreneur. He understood that though, in spite of what I have, in spite of my circumstances, I'm still going to go out there and still going to try to accomplish the best in me, right? And I just think that it goes away to say, right, that to never quit. Whether you have a dream, whether you have a vision and aspiration for the future, it doesn't matter how older you are, right? You could be 50 years old watching this, right? He was 52 years old when he started his first franchise. When he started to create the McDonald's franchise system, right? And he also created, by the way, Hamburger U. So nowadays as well, every single McDonald's franchise owner basically has to go to university to learn how to run the actual franchise, learn how to make the actual hamburger meals, etc. Right? And that was like a genius thing, right? Hamburger U he created as well. So as you guys can see, right, this is from the heart of a true entrepreneur, Ray Kroc. Fascinating guy. So those are the things I got from the book and stuff. If you guys have any questions or the statements, leave it, of course, below here, and I'll be happy to answer anything. And I'll see you guys on my next book review.